Good evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Tuesday, October 3, 2023. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Guyana marks anniversary of arbitral award that settled boundary with Venezuela. 80 witnesses want 40 statements to be presented as electoral fraud cases get underway. Venezuelan nationals stabbed to death at TUSCHEN. 3 get 500,000 bail each for 40 million RDC robbery, and millions go up in flames as West BERBICE farm destroyed by fire. Now for the news in detail. On the occasion of the 124th anniversary of the arbitral award that settled Guyana's boundary with Venezuela, Guyana has reaffirmed its position on ensuring a final and binding judicial settlement is arrived at. It is a position that the Brazilian government and renowned diplomat Sir Sridhar Ramphal have both thrown their support behind. Here is Jarl Bryan with the details.
The boundary between Venezuela and what was then British Guyana was settled 124 years ago in the 1899 arbitral award. However, with Venezuela keeping the controversy alive, Guyana on the occasion of the arbitral award's 124th anniversary has sought to reaffirm its position via a statement. In a statement, the government explained that they remain committed to international law and the 1899 arbitral award. They reminded that both Guyana and Venezuela were integrally involved in the 1899 arbitral award proceedings, as opposed to Venezuela's claims of being excluded. Moreover, they noted that for more than 60 years after the 1899 award, Venezuela treated the award as a final settlement of the border controversy. It was only 1962, when Guyana was on the cusp of independence, that Venezuela changed its tune. The Guyana government noted, for more than 6 decades after the 1899 award was delivered, Venezuela treated the award as a final settlement of the matter. It consistently recognized, affirmed, and relied on the 1899 award as a full, perfect, and final determination of the boundary with British Guyana. Guyana's right to have the border controversy settled at the International Court of Justice, ICJ, was meanwhile affirmed by Brazil. During a meeting with Foreign Affairs Minister Hugh Todd, his Brazilian counterpart Mauro Vieira reiterated Brazil's support for Guyana. According to Vieira, Brazil adheres to the ICJ's jurisdiction, and he noted that his country was eagerly awaiting the court's judgment. Todd also used the occasion to debunk Venezuela's false narratives, including that Guyana would allow a military base to be established on the border. And Sir Sridhar Ramphal penned a letter supporting Guyana and condemning Venezuela's efforts to avoid the inevitable court ruling. Ramphal, who is Guyana's co-agent before the ICJ, reminded that for over 50 years under the Geneva Agreement, negotiations between the two countries went nowhere. Among other things, Guyana is asking the ICJ to adjudge and declare that the 1899 award is valid and binding upon Guyana and Venezuela, that Venezuela is internationally responsible for violations of Guyana's sovereignty and sovereign rights, and for all injuries suffered by Guyana as a consequence. Jarl Bryan, The Evening News.
Jarl Bryan joins us again to report that the accused in the election fraud cases today appeared before Magistrate Leron Daly, where they were read a litany of charges, and the special prosecutor on the cases revealed that he has as many as 80 witnesses and 140 statements to present to the court. Here is more.
Among those who have been charged are former Guyana Elections Commission GCOM employees and sitting PNC Member of Parliament Valda Lawrence. Former GCOM Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield and former Region 4 Returning Officer Claremont Mingo had the most charges against them. Lowenfield was charged with 3 counts of misconduct in public office, 3 counts of forgery, and 2 counts of conspiracy to defraud. Meanwhile, Mingo was charged with 4 counts of misconduct in public office. He was further charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to defraud and 2 counts of forgery. Lawrence, APNU Member of Parliament Carol Smith-Joseph, and former GCOM employees Roxanne Myers, Enrique Livon, and Michelle Miller were also charged with various offenses. When the matter was called, Special Prosecutor and Queen's Counsel Darshan Ramdani requested that the cases be consolidated. Ramdani pointed out that with as many as 80 witnesses and 140 statements, as well as video evidence, consolidating the cases will save precious time. He also saw the intervention of Senior Magistrate Leron Daly in petitioning the Chancellor of the Judiciary to have the matters assigned to a specific magistrate. Attorney at law Nigel Hughes, who represents several of the accused, however, urged that the matters proceed as soon as possible. Magistrate Daly then adjourned the case to October the 25th. In an interview with the media afterwards, Hughes hinted that the defense may consider legal action over the delay in the cases.
Now the matter has been put down for another 2 weeks for a report. So these defendants have now been coming to court for in excess of 3 years without the prosecution being unable to start their case despite saying their own. And this, I believe, is an infringement of their right to a fair trial within a reasonable time, and we will be considering what avenues are available to them on that basis.
The cases all relate to attempts made to rig the 2020 general and regional elections, during which time the country stood still for 5 months until the swearing-in of President Dr. Irfaan Ali on August 2, 2020. Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
The Commission of Inquiry into the Madhya Dormitory fire today heard of the challenges the fire service had faced in arriving at the scene of the tragedy, which ultimately resulted in some delays in the response rendered. Rupasina Ryan reports that those challenges included crowds of people and improperly parked vehicles obstructing movement on the roadways.
Officer in charge of the Madhya Fire Station, Ryan Scott, testified at the third public hearing of the Commission of Inquiry into the Madhya tragedy on Tuesday. His testimony was interrupted by a power outage, which suspended the hearings, but he managed to give an account into the events leading up to their arrival on the scene. On May 21st at about 23 hours 12, Scott said he was alerted by a loud sounding of a horn. An identifiable male raised the alarm that the Madhya dormitory was on fire, and firefighters mobilized to lend assistance. It took less than 2 minutes for 3 firemen, including Scott, to depart, where they would have to cover a distance of about 1.5 miles to reach the dormitory. Scott recalled having difficulties arriving at the scene owing to crowds and vehicles.
There was vehicle double park, so we had to slow down for maneuver through these vehicles for get to the fire scene. Crowd building up when we arrived at the scene. There were ambulance, police, and a rapid crowd already built up in the compound.
He added that despite police presence, the crowds and vehicles were not controlled by ranks. By the time the Guyana Fire Service entered the compound, the fire had already ripped through the structure and a section had collapsed.
On arrival, the building was fully engulfed in flames, and the front portion, that would be the southern part of the building, roof was already collapsed, and red and blue flame was emitting from the building.
Serving for some 2 decades at the Guyana Fire Service, Scott took up his position at the Madhya Fire Station in 2022. He told the commission that at the time, there was no serving member of the Guyana Fire Service at Madhya, but rather auxiliary persons responsible for any emergencies after undergoing a crash course in basic firefighting. Rupasina Ryan, The Evening News.
Coming up, Venezuelan national stabbed to death at TUSCHEN, and East Coast Emerara family cries for help as alleged arson suspect remains at large. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe. Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe.
Are you looking for men's suits for that wedding, prom, or special party? Or maybe you need to update your wardrobe with a modern fit or a new color for work? Search no more. Because John Lewis Styles is the perfect men's suit store. Come see us on Waterloo Street, and our friendly staff will help you choose the perfect size, color, and fit. Complement that suit with a stunning shirt and tie, matching bow tie and suspenders, cufflinks, or even a pair of shiny dress shoes. You will love the way you look. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. A 29-year-old Venezuelan national was on Monday night stabbed to death during a suspected robbery at TUSCHEN East Bank Essequibo. Dead is Alejandro Maximo Ferreira. The incident occurred on his daughter's 9th birth anniversary. Reports are that the daughter, her sister, and their mother were heading home from a birthday outing when they discovered the man lying in a pool of blood on the roadway. The evening news was informed that Ferreira had gone to pick up his family but was attacked by 2 men. During the altercation, the man was stabbed about 4 times about his body. The suspects then escaped on a bicycle. Investigations are ongoing. We now tell you that a quiet night turned into a nightmare for a family of 13 when their East Coast Emerara home was set ablaze in the early hours of Monday. Family members who narrowly escaped the fire are now desperately seeking answers and are pointing fingers at a suspect whom they believe is responsible for the incident. Luana McAllister has the details.
The fire incident occurred at Ansgrove, East Coast, Emerara during the wee hours of Monday. The family of 13, including 4 children, was abruptly awakened by the sound of crackling flames and smoke. The evening news was informed that the occupants of the home had to jump from the veranda of the upper flat of their 2-story concrete home to escape the blaze. One of the occupants, in an interview with a known personality that was uploaded to social media, explained what transpired.
The night on the fire, I went sleeping and I hear a hollering and I open my eye, I see the room dark. Then me get up off the bed and open the bedroom door. And when I open the bedroom, the whole inside the house black with smoke. The place black, and I run back to the room them to see for me 3 children them. And when I run back, I get them. Then I just jump down the step. I jump down the veranda. Me and my children them jump down the veranda. Because that was the only way that we get out of the house.
The family has since identified a man whom they strongly believe is responsible for setting the fire. Eyewitness accounts suggest that the alleged suspect was seen near the house shortly before the fire erupted.
He went here ready. Me and he had a not really had a problem. And night me lie down and he come here like 12 o'clock. And he cuss up and he peeped through my window. And I tell him that he can't come in front of you and behave in that manner. The next morning I went to that was last year. I went to the Clanbrook outpost and I made a reporting. And they told me to go vigilance and get a restraining order. A restraining order fee. I get a restraining order, they put me for court. I turn up court, Andrew Francis never turned up court. And he threatened me already that he gonna burn down my house and he gonna kill me and my family. He gonna kill me and my family. And me want justice because he could have killed me and my own family in here because me went sleeping and I now me back because me jumped from the van and me back out in me bad.
The fire service was called to the scene and the blaze was put out, but the family claims that the man was not arrested or questioned. They are also claiming that this was not the first attack on their family.
I rescued my niece one night.
Yes.
She was on the road coming from work and I saw her stand up. I said, what happened to you? She said she tried father hide in a bush and chase her. And she dropped her bag and she run. So I said, let me go. And I called out her mother and sisters and then left and go to the station. But it's not first time this thing going on. He always abused her. and we are getting no justice wherever we go. When she had the cash grant,
yes,
he take away it. I can't remember it's which station she had to end up and go. And he threatened the mother. What he ain't going to do. She went at vigilance and she had a restraining order for him.
Yes.
But he's still molesting the family. We want justice.
The family is pleading with authorities to set up their investigation into the matter. Lawanda McAllister for the Evening News.
Our BERBICE correspondent Andrew Carmichael joins us now to report that 3 persons appeared in court today on charges in relation to an armed robbery that occurred at the Regional Democratic Council office in Region 6 last month. Here are the details.
Charged are 32-year-old O'Neill Lampkin at construction work of Sheet Anchor East Kanji, Berbice, 25-year-old Damian Morgan of Fort Ordnance East Kanji, Berbice, and 27-year-old Shaquille Grant, a businessman of Asylum Street, New Amsterdam, Berbice. The trio appeared on Tuesday morning at the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Magistrate Faith Augusti, charged with robbery under arms contrary to Section 222C of the Criminal Law Offence Act, Chapter 801. The armed robbery was committed at the Regional Democratic Council, RDC office in New Amsterdam, Berbice on September 13, 2023. The men were not required to plead to the indictable charge and bail was set at $500,000 each. The matter has been transferred to the New Amsterdam Magistrates Court and comes up again on October 24th. Police had reported that an alleged robbery with violence was committed at the RDC building at Vrymans Irving, New Amsterdam, Berbice on September 13th at about 3 hours 10. 60-year-old security guard Sir Suknanan had told investigators that he was on duty at the RDC guard hut situated at the back of the main administrative building when about 4 unidentifiable men came into the compound from a fence behind the building and dealt him 1 lash to his forehead with an object, causing him to receive injuries. He also claimed that his hands were tied behind his back and duct tape was placed over his mouth to silence him. The police said at the time Suknanan claimed that nothing was taken from him. The men made their way into the building and cut a grilled door where cash was being held, the police had stated. It had been reported that $40 million was stolen during the robbery. Later in the day, police confronted a car with 5 men and during a shootout, one of the suspected bandits was shot and killed. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Recognizing the vulnerability of increased trade operations at its various port facilities countrywide, authorities are working to boost security in this regard and are receiving support from the government of Chile. Lawanda McAllister joins us with the details.
Several Coast Guard and law enforcement officers are set to receive advanced training in enhancing port surveys and shoreline security following the opening of a port security seminar on Monday. The 5-day session, which is a collaboration between Maritime Administration and Directorate Chile, is being held at the Coast Guard Training Center in Kingston, Georgetown. During the opening ceremony, MARAD's Director General Captain Stephen Thomas stressed the importance of equipping persons with advanced skills, specifically Coast Guards.
These efforts are not only about more cameras and higher fences and more hardware, but the most important aspect for us is having properly trained port security personnel.
Captain Thomas further explained that as Guyana fosters bilateral ties with more countries, trade is expected to expand. As such, he stressed the need for improved security.
Guyana is a country that depends upon 90% of our trade via ships. In addition to our international obligations, port security is crucial to our very survival and our economic well-being.
Meanwhile, Captain Pablo Ferreira of Chile said the collaboration between the two countries is necessary due to the ongoing economic transformation of Guyana. The Port Security Conference is being held as part activities to observe World Maritime Week. Lawanda McAllister, The Evening News.
A West Berbice farmer is calling on authorities to launch a proper investigation after his farm went up in flames, causing him millions of dollars in losses. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael reports that the farmer believes the inferno has resulted from arson.
The farm is situated at Bellevue, West Coast Berbice, Region 5, Mahaica, Berbice. Desmond Jacobs of number 40 Village says It was last Monday when he discovered the fire in his farm. The farm consists of fruit trees, cash crop, and coconut trees. According to Jacobs, the raging fire destroyed about $2 million worth of crop and other items. He pointed out that a storage room was also damaged and chemicals he had stored there were destroyed. Jacobs says he and his uncle cultivate the farm, which is situated in the backlands, and he visits at least twice per day. He says based on what he saw, the fire was deliberately set.
I came down for come water plant last week Monday, and when I entered for come in the farm for water plant, I made a big blaze in the farm. And I went home back and I tell my mother, somebody come in the background and in the farm and light fire.
So, I mean, the place is so dry, how you know it's not a bushfire just started?
No man, this is not bushfire. This is not bushfire, man. Bushfire can't start so. This fire starts from inside. It's not bushfire. If it was a bushfire, it wouldn't give all this bunker blaze just so. This big flame up so. It's a big one like in one spot. Like at one spot it meet and out. You understand me? This fire just come in a big direction. A big thing just comes up blown. People light this fire inside this farm. Cause nobody really living in this background me. Nobody living in this camp. We just come often, I just come morning half time and water plant because my uncle was busy with cow and horse in the background.
Papaya, watermelon, bananas, soursop, and some citrus trees are among the crops destroyed. Jacob says he is peeved at the lack of response by the police.
When you went to the station?
Went to the station last week Monday night.
Okay, and what has the police done since?
The police told me they're gonna come. They tell me they can't come Tuesday. They if I have the Monday, then say they come Wednesday because they said the guy say you gotta go in a 51 and there's some matters. That is Tuesday, but nobody never come Tuesday, no Wednesday up to now. Nobody never come.
And today is what day?
Today is Monday.
Jacob says he has revisited the Weldad police station and also left a contact number for himself. The authorities' seeming lack of interest, he says, is worrying.
So it's like a whole week gone again. From last week to now, it's a week we into today Monday. Nobody never come.
What about the suckers? You mentioned that you lost suckers.
Yeah, I mentioned you see the suckers scratch up, the sucker burn up. The sucker burn up now, you have to trim them. They have to trim them and water them. And right now in the canal back that way, there is no water. Everything they dry out. Because right now is the dry weather. Everything they dry out. There is no water right now.
The National Agriculture Research and Extension Institute, NARI, has since engaged the farmer. Meanwhile, Guyana is currently experiencing a period of El Nino, which has resulted in an uptick of bush and grass fires countrywide. For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Emerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Wednesday, October 4th, 2023 at 4 hours for a period of 60 minutes and then again at 19 hours 30 also for a period of 60 minutes. Meanwhile, the BERBICE River Bridge is expected to be closed at 7 hours 35 on Wednesday, October 4th, 2023 also for a period of 1.5 hours.
GDF remains champions, Clark best boxer at national novices, and we just had to play sensible cricket, says West Indies women's players. Details of these stories and more in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
Superbet, your best bet. With many agents countrywide, our products are easily accessible. Visit an agent nearest to you to play your favorite games. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown